Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class we will learn Masechta Shabbos, Daf Beis Amud Aleph and Daf Beis Amud Beis. This is the first piece of Gemara in Masechta Shabbos. Let's begin with a general outline. The Mishnah taught us Yitzias Shabbos Shtayim Shein Arba B'fnim U'Shtayim Shein Arba B'chutz. When it comes to Yitzias of Shabbos, there are two cases that are for the person standing on the inside, and there are two cases that are for the person standing on the outside. Our Gemara will present a Mishnah from Masechta Shavuos that says Yitzias Shabbos Shtayim Shein Arba. That when it comes to Yitzias Shabbos, there are two cases that are for. It'll count only four cases, and the question is, why in Masechta Shabbos do we count 8 cases, and in Shavuos do we count 4 cases? We will also learn how our Mishnah can say Yitzias Shabbos, seeming to be talking about Haitzah, when it actually talks about Achnasa as well. Let's begin. Our Mishnah says Yitzias Shabbos Shtayim Shein Arba B'fnim U'Shtayim Shein Arba B'chutz. There's a total of 8 cases, 4 for the person B'fnim and 4 for the person B'chutz. We present now a Mishnah from Masechta Shavuos, which is, as you can see, is an arrow because it will lead into a question. It says in the Mishnah Shavuos Shtayim Shein Arba, Yitzias Tumah Shtayim Shein Arba, Maris Negoyim Shtayim Shein Arba, and Yitzias Shabbos Shtayim Shein Arba. It counts, it enumerates various things that have 2 that are 4 cases. Shavuos, Yitzias Tumah, Maris Negoyim, and Yitzias Shabbos. And this leads us to a question. Ma'ishna hocha, the Tani Shtayim Shein Arba B'fnim, U'Shtayim Shein Arba B'chutz. What's different that over here it counts 2 that are 4 B'fnim and 2 that are 4 for B'chutz? Ma'ishna hasam, what's different that over there, the Tani that it teaches Shtayim Shein Arba, there are 2 that are 4 V'sulay and nothing more? Answers the Gemara. Hocha the Iker Shabbosu Tani Avis v'Tani told us over here, since it's the main place to discuss the halachas of Shabbos, it teaches the Avis and the Toldos, the Avitzah. Hasam the Lavikar Shabbosu over there, it's Masechta Shavuos. It's not the main place to discuss the topic of Shabbos. Avis Tani Toldos Leitani. It teaches the Avis, but it doesn't teach the Toldos. However, the Gemara has a question. Avis my niu haitzais. What are the Avis? What is the Av malacha of carrying on Shabbos? It's haitzah. There's only 2 cases of Haitzah. You could have either the Ani doing Haitzah or the Usher doing Haitzah, the Balabais. There's a total of 2 cases. Why then does the Mishnah in Shavuos say Shtayim Shein Arba? There's only 2. It can't be that the basis for the counting in the Masechta, in the Mishnah of Shavuos, is that it counts Avis as opposed to Toldos, because then there would only be 2 cases. Now the Gemara addresses a possible answer. One might want to say, V'chi tema mehen l'chiyuv v'mehen l'ptur. You might want to say, no, it's counting Haitzahs, and the way we reach the number 4 is we have the 2, one of the Ani and one of the Usher, and then there's an additional 2 where the individual didn't do the whole Haitzah, he did part of the Haitzah. And therefore, although he's Pater, it's still Usher. So the Mishnah in Shavuos, maybe it is counting Haitzah. It is only counting the Av, but it's counting the Chayev cases and the Pater cases. Says the Gemara, we cannot answer that. Because it has to be Dumya de Maris Nagayim. It has to be similar to Maris Nagayim. Just like over there, Ma Hasam Kula Luchayuva, and Maris Nagayim, all the cases that are counted, as the Gemara explains in Masechta Shavuos, all the cases that are mentioned of Maris Nagayim are Chayev. So too in Shavuos, Yitzias Tumah, and for that matter, Yitzias Shabbos, it's only Chayev cases. And therefore we remain with our question, which is, just to point out how the flowchart works, we led into the question and we supported it, but ultimately this over here is the question, and the question is, if it's only counting the Avis, there would be 2 cases, so it can't be that it's only counting the Avis. Now one more time we'll point something out about the flowchart. We led into a question here and we provided an answer. However, we didn't accept this answer. That means this route doesn't work. We need to therefore find an alternative answer, and that's what we'll do now. The Gemara now answers an answer from Papa. Hoche de Iker Shabbosu Tani Chiyuv Tani P'turi. Over here, since it's the main place to discuss the topic of Shabbos, it teaches the Chayev cases and the Pater cases, and therefore it amounts to 8 cases, like we learned in the Mishnah. Hasam over there in Shavuos, the Lavikar Shabbos, so it's not the main place to discuss Shabbos. Chiyuv Tani P'turi Loi Tani. It teaches the Chayev cases, but it doesn't teach the Pater cases, and therefore we're left with 4 cases. Ask the Gemara, Chiyuv Ma'niu. What are the cases that are Chayev? Which cases is the person Chayev? When he carries out, when he does Haitzah. There's only 2 such cases. The Ani could do Haitzah, and the Usher could do Haitzah. So how does it come out that in Masechta Shavuos it counts 4 cases? Why does he count 4 cases? If it's only counting the Chayev cases, it should amount to 2. And here the Gemara gives a seemingly obvious answer, and that is that when it says in Masechta Shavuos, Yitzias Shabbos Shtayim Shein Arba, it's counting all the Chayev cases. So we have the Haitzah of the Ani, the Haitzah of the Usher, and then we have the Hachnasa of the Ani and the Hachnasa of the Usher. So it does total 4 cases, and the way we read the Mishnah is Yitzias Shabbos, carrying out of Shabbos, Shtayim Shen Arba are 2 that are 4, there are 2 Yitzayis and 2 Achnasas. And with that, we're really done answering our question, because the Gemara accepts this answer at the end. So the question was, why in Shavuos does it count 4 cases, and here do we count, in Masechta Shabbos we count 8 cases? And the answer is Masechta Shabbos, it's the main place to discuss the topic of Shabbos. It counts Chayev and Pater cases, which amount to 8 cases, and Masechta Shavuos, where it's not the main place to discuss the topic of Shabbos, it only counts the Chayev cases, which totals 4. However, now the Gemara asks a question on this answer, to challenge it. But the Gemara will respond to that question, therefore we remain with this answer. Nevertheless, this question is going to be put on the side because it's also a separate topic as well. Let's see. The Gemara says, how can you tell me that the Mishnah in Shavuos, when it says Yitzias Shabbos, it's Shtayim Shen Arba 2 that are 4, it's counting not just Heitzah, it's also counting Achnasa. The Mishnah says Yitzias, it's only counting Heitzah. But this is more of a general question because our Mishnah also says Yitzias. That's why it's put on the side, to indicate that a separate issue is being resolved here. The Gemara answers that the Tana calls Hachnasa with the word Heitzah. Hachnasa namika kari leHeitzah. The Tana also, when he describes it, Hachnasa, he calls it Heitzah. So therefore, when the Mishnah says Yitzias HaShabbos, it includes not just Heitzahs, but also Achnasas. And now the Gemara proves this. How do we know this? Because there's a Mishnah later on in Parakla Gadol that speaks about Meitzi Mershus L'Rshus. One removes from one property to another. It uses a general term, Rshus L'Rshus. It doesn't say Rshus HaYachid, Rshus HaRabim. Therefore, we see that it includes any type of removing from one Rshus to another. And it uses the word Ha-Meitzi. Now the Gemara continues and says, V'taimamai, why? Why does he use the word Yitzias when he's also talking about Achnasa? And the answer is, because Kala Kiras Chayfetz Mim Kaimai, any time a person removes an object from its place, he's being mitzi it. So if an object is either in Rishus HaYachid or Rishus HaRabim, if the person removes it and puts it into another Rishus, he was mitzi the object. He removed the object from the Rishus that it was originally in. Now the Gemara continues and says that this idea that Yitzias also includes Achnasa could actually be seen clearly in our Mishnah as well. Our Mishnah says Yitzias HaShabbos, Shtayim Shen Arba B'fnim, Shtayim Shen Arba B'chutz, and immediately the Mishnah goes ahead and describes a case of Achnasa. It says, Pashat ha'ani es yadi lefnim, v'nasan l'seich yadi shel Baal Bayis. If the ani standing on the outside extended his hand inwards and placed something in the Baal Bayis' hand, he did Achnasa. So even though we use the word Yitzia, it immediately presents the case of Achnasa. Just to point out something from Rishonim, without explaining it, but just a general point, and that is that the proof is not from the fact that our Mishnah says Yitzias and counts Achnasas. That could be explained. The proof is from the fact that it says Yitzias, in the very first case it counts is a case of Achnasa. Now let's get back to our question a moment. We said, but it says Yitzias. How could Yitzias include Achnasa? So one answer was presented, that when it says Heitzah, it also includes Achnasa. Here we have another answer in the Gemara, and that is Rishuyes Katani. When the word Yitzias is used, it actually means Rishuyes, properties. Like Tosfos will explain what this is based on. And therefore, the way we read the Mishnah is as follows: Yitzias HaShabbos, Rishuyas of Shabbos, the domains of Shabbos, Shtayim are 2. There are 2 domains of Shabbos. There's Rishus HaYachid and Rishus HaRabim. Shein Arba, that these lead to 4 cases. And therefore, we can ask, why does it say Yitzia, which means carrying out, and then count Achnasa? Because the word Yitzia in our Mishnah doesn't mean carrying out, rather it means domains. As a result of the fact that there are 2 domains on Shabbos, we have 4 cases of carrying that are Asr Min HaTorah, that there's a Chiyuv. We have Heitzah, carrying out of the Ani and Heitzah of the Asher, and we have Achnasa, bringing in of the Ani and Achnasa of the Asher. And with that we finish this piece of Gemara, where the Gemara here presented its question, the difference between the Masech Gemara and Shavuos that counts 4 cases and ours that counts 8. We gave our answer, and we also explained how we could say Yitzias and also include the cases of Achnasa.